welcome to Mr. Randy's Wine and Spirits. I am Mr. Randy, and today we're going to be doing a full review episode of the gin, Boodles British London Dry Gin, to be more precise. If you're new to the channel, hello and welcome. Come on in. Good times will ensue. Guaranteed. Eventually. All my returning viewers, you know how it goes. It's a gin video. So let's talk about it. So this is the full review episode of the Boodles Gin. Mr. Randy does a three-part series when he does a review of a whiskey, wine, libations of sorts. Here we go. First one, episode 1, off the rip, get the bottle home, crack it open, pour it in a glass, have my first impressions, and share them with you because you're so gosh darn amazing. That's why we're here, to talk about it. Part 2 is the full review. We get down halfway-ish, we stop, and we let what's left in there, depending on the libation, of course, how long it sits for it to open up, give it some room, give it some time, see what it wants to do with itself in its life. It's going to be short-lived, no matter how you look at it, because I'm going to drink it. I will go on the internet, the wild, wild west of information on the wide world webs. I will venture out there. I will come back with probably as little as possible, which we have done today. And we'll talk about it. I'll score it. We'll continue to drink it because part 3, off the rip, all the way down here. Off the rip. The final pour. The final pour. We'll have that final pour. We'll compare it to the first pour from off the rip and everything in between. So here we are with Boodles, Cock Russell and Company, Boodles British London Dry Gin. It is imported, established in 1845. It is a nice 45.2% alcohol by volume. It is a standard 750 here in the States. Not standard over there in the UK and most of Europe. Is the standard is 700, but it's centiliters. They do 70 centiliters. But here you go. Here's all that good information you just love to see on the back end. We don't need to see the government warning. To appreciate Boodles, fine flavor, use sparingly. Okay. I think that's their version of drink responsibly. Product of the United Kingdom. It comes in through like Vermont, right? Or I don't know, whatever. There's the website you can go to check out all the information. It comes in through Lawrenceburg. What the heck is all this? That must be, I don't know. At this point, we're just going to have to move on. We're going to have to move on. I love gin. Gin is nice. It's very easy. It's like, no, that's the right side there. Boodles Gin. Okay, so one of the most famous things about Boodles Gin is that Winston Churchill used to drink it. I couldn't find out if he drank it neat or if he drank it in a gin and tonic. Probably a gin and tonic, because most of my British family would do gin and tonics. So there it is. That's my father's side of the family. So originally, this was started in 1845, and they used what's called a Carter head steel. Don't know what that is. Honestly, did not track down enough information about that. I just thought, hey, that's good enough. I can't find much of anything else, so let's move on. Mr. Randy did pay just about under $20 out the door. It was on sale. Yeah, it was one of those weekly specials I had several weeks ago. Every other week, I think one of the stores that I go to, one of the twins has a special like almost every week, and they have some pretty good deals. It's usually anywhere from $10 to $15 off a bottle. That's usually, yeah, it's usually more expensive than what it's worth, but that helps them remove inventory off the shelves and make a little money before it gets, you know, to that point where it's not, the profit margins are so thin it shouldn't even be on the shelf. Normally, this bottle goes for anywhere from $25 to $30 per bottle. I've seen it upwards of $35. But I was lucky enough to get this when it comes on sale. They always know how to get Mr. Randy. They know how to get Mr. Randy. 45.2% alcohol by volume. It is crystal clear, clearer than your tap water, pretty much guaranteed, especially around these parts. I hope the tap water in San Antonio is better than it is here. I can smell it. It's kind of odd. It does not smell exactly like it did off the rip. I can remember that. I immediately got like that dry dustiness of like sawdust. But then as I put it to my nose, I got some rosemary, pine, some citrus hanging behind the pine. They say nutmeg and sage. I don't know much about sage. Nutmeg is, I don't know, I don't get no nutmeg out of this. So let's go ahead and let's get that first palating out of the way. Oh, that's a nice, it's still pretty good on the palate, but that's the first one. You know how that first one goes. It's not always accurate, but that's a pretty good London dry. It really is. Not just because it comes from Great Britain, I'm sorry. Let's get that second palate on there. Then we're going to find out what's what. You can see it's got some pretty good viscosity. It's not wanting to let go of it at the moment, but I can tell about how it thickly coats the glass. Yeah, once the legs start running, they're going to be good. You got some legs starting to want to run. It wants to pull apart and sort of like go into that sort of veininess. But look at that. Look at that. Oh, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. So it's got some nice viscosity, which does transfer well to the mouth. Coats everything. I'm getting a lot of cheeks right now. A lot of action going on in the cheeks and the top of the tongue. The back end, where you get a lot of the heat, is where it builds up. It's about a 1-ish, a little more than the 1. Not quite a 2 yet. Same thing with the cheeks. The top of the tongue is very mild. Nothing on the tip, nothing on the lips, nothing on the gums. But let's get one more, and then we'll move on. If I can remember to do so, I will find out more about this and about the Carter head steels. What is that exactly? If you know, go ahead and drop that in the comments. The palate is very piney. There is some rosemary. It's sort of a twinge of rosemary, more pine. The spiciness sort of comes in behind the pine. It's a very nice to drink neat, although I do not regularly drink gin neat. But this is one I could probably drink neat, even though, be careful, it is a 45.2, which comes out to what, 90.4 proof? If you're a bourbon lover and that's what you drink is bourbon, and you think a 90.2 is nothing to, you turn your nose up to that. I don't know. I mean, you do you, okay? Let's all try to get along and not be snobs. So I guess we're going to go ahead and get that finish. That palate still has a little bit to work on, but we'll try and pull what we can out of the finish. That is a nice gin. That is a really nice gin. I'm surprised I got this for $20 out the door. This has turned into a really spectacular gin. To sip neat. Mixing it with tonic water, it does tame it down a bit. So neat is, for me, drinking this neat would be better than drinking it in a gin and tonic, because even though the tonic water would help express more of those characters, it does take it down a notch on overall quality and whatnot. So some of the gins that I do, and they are a little rougher, they're a little higher on that point. Once you mix them with the gin and tonic, once you mix it with the tonic water, it sort of like smooths it out, it levels it off, and it's a very beautiful drink, a libation to have for sure. So let's go ahead, as this finishes working out, let's go ahead. If you're still watching, go ahead and hit that like button for me. It does the channel some good as far as whatever platform you're finding it on. go ahead and hit that like button, hit the heart button, whatever. But most importantly, hit me up in the comments. Let Mr. Randy know. Do you like Boodles? Do you like Jen? Do you like Mr. Randy's channel? What would you do differently? I don't care. Just have a comment. Let's talk about it. The gums have really kicked in. That is something very weird. The tongue is done. The back end is a 1 still. The lips are okay. The lips are about a 1. The gums are a good, strong, solid 2. The gums are really kicking in here. The cheeks are not too bad. They're a little bit over a 1. This is a nice London Dry Gin. Abso-freaking-lutely love it. So let's put a score on it. Wow, those gums are really kicking. Whew. Okay, so a London Dry Gin. Let's score it. I'm going to give it a strong 4 out of 5. I think a strong 4 out of 5 is very appropriate for this. It really didn't impress me too much off the rip, but now it does. So gin does not react exactly the same way as a whiskey does. Gin will off gas, and it will sort of like decant a little bit, but overall, every gin that I've had pretty much has the same sort of thing from off the rip to the middle to the final pour. It sort of stays in line. It does not evolve very much. It tones down by notch, by notch, by notch until it's gone. Whiskey, on the other hand, can evolve. It can lose characters. It can enhance characters. It is what it is. It does what it does. So there it is, a strong 4 out of 5. My fair price, I would say, yeah, $25 to $30 would be a pretty good price point for this bottle of gin. It's a good London Dry Gin. I could drink this neat and be completely satisfied. Although I do prefer to put it in some tonic water and sip at it over a period of time, like an hour or so. So there it is. My fair price, cool. Buy again for $20? Heck yeah, I'd buy it again. If it was more towards the $30, I might try and get something a little better like the Still Austin. I just happened to pick some of that up not too long ago. It's still sitting there waiting to be cracked open. Once this is gone, the Boodles, I'll probably crack that Still Austin gin. For that Still Austin gin, I think is roughly about, that's a $3.75. Yeah, so I mean it's roughly about the same price for a $7.50, about $30. Oh, that's a really close call, but it is what it is. Would I buy this again? Like I said, most likely. If I didn't have any better options that I usually would buy, I would have no problems, no qualms at all snagging this Boodles. So let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, thanks for stopping by here at Mr. Randy's Wine and Spirits. Definitely have a good one.